Imagine you're just having a nice night of sleep until you dream about an army of talking cats attacking you and pulling you into the abyss, especially because in this world, in every dream that you have, lies a demon inside, ready to take everything from you and possess your body. Yumeji Fujiwara is an average teenage boy, but his ability to perceive other people's auras and predict their dreams makes him unique among them. However, he only gets his predictions right when it comes to nightmares. He has been haunted by the same nightmare for years, in which cats relentlessly attack him. In a recent dream, the cats warned him that their master Do would soon arrive. Yumeji, perplexed about who it is, dismisses it and resumes his regular day. His friends make fun of him when he gets to school since he can't accurately read their auras or foretell their dreams. He visits the restroom and notices a black aura once more, which denotes a nightmare. He is all too aware that the cats will be involved again. As he makes his way home along the alley, a girl suddenly falls from a tree on top of him. The girl speaks to the crows and Yumeji tells her to find new friends because the crows can't understand her. She rejects it right away until she realizes her hat is missing and flees away to search for it. Yumeji leaves and ends up finding the girl's hat on the way. After noticing that it is moving by itself, he attempts to take it up and discovers a black cat underneath. He asks about their previous encounters with the cat but accidentally causes it to open a gateway to the dream realm. There, he is confronted by John Doe, who refers to himself as the Chaser. Doe holds out a sword while hiding behind a mask. Yumeji flees the area without thinking twice and Doe's allied cats immediately chase him. Yumeji finds a place to hide, but Do quickly finds out where he is. The mystery girl, a dream demon named Mary Nightmare, suddenly enters and gets in the way of the two as Do threatens to kill him. She is relieved to have discovered her hat and asks Do if he can take her with him to the dream world. Do declines right away, which sets in a conflict between the two. Mary is fast and dodges all of Do's attacks. Yumeji, on the other hand, observes the two. The allied cats of Do show up just as Mary is winning the battle. They point a gun at Mary to save their boss, but Yumeji promptly responds by redirecting the weapon. Battle between Mary and Do ended with an axe kick coming from her. Yumeji asks Mary if they've won after noticing that Do's mask has fallen off in half. Mary agrees and attempts to convince Do again to take her along, but the demon declines and disappears into thin air. They return to reality while Yumeji watches Mary cry, as she is unable to leave the real world and finds herself trapped there. She then requests that Yumeji bring Do back once more. However, she loses consciousness and falls into Yumeji's arms. Yumeji brings her to his house to rest, and they talk after she regains her strength. She explains to him how she got into this world and also describes her attempt to return to the dream realm, and calls both Do and herself a nightmare. He becomes confused when she mentions that dream demons take over someone in the real world, while some live among people. He asks if she ever took over someone, but she denies it. She then remembers that Do knows something about her, so she faces Yumeji and asks him to help her make Do appear again. But Yumeji doesn't know how to. Mary vanishes on the same night, making Yumeji clearly upset. Despite it, he carries on with his daily activities, but he can't stop thinking about Mary, and remembers her pleading with him to help her return to her world. She saved from Do, he recalls. Therefore, he tells himself at this exact moment that he will help her find Do once more. Yumeji looks for her. While walking in the park, he stumbles into Mary and a little girl, and notices that she has a nightmare following her. He and Mary suddenly enter the Japanese-themed daydream world, and he encounters Akima, the demon seeking to use the little girl as a host. The demon is enraged that the little girl has found new friends and starts to attack. A large wooden object falls from above whenever she raises her hand, but they swiftly dodge every attack. Mary attacks Akima, and as she is about to lose, she attempts to ask the girl for help, telling her she is her only friend. However, Yumeji tells her that a genuine friend wouldn't take advantage of her. Yumeji observes as Mary defeats Akima. Mary tries to enter the dream world portal as it opens, but she fails. Yumeji then decides to help her get back to her world, but she warns him that doing so could kill him or turn him into a host for the nightmare. Then it will be over for the two of them because the demon won't be able to reopen the door to the dream realm. He couldn't be saved by her either. The following day, Mei, Yumeji's classmate, comes to visit him, but he discovers that she is acting strangely as if she is under the control of a nightmare demon. He quickly checks and his suspicions are real. He chases her outside before confronting the dream demon, and uses force to unlock the door to the dream realm because he wants to recover Mei's body. But he gets shocked when he gets to the dream realm. He seems to be in an abandoned old church, and May's body is inside a coffin filled with flowers. He tries to punch Chris, the demon who took possession of May's body, but the demon shoots a flare of light. Yumeji yells at him to give back to May as he raises him in the air. Mary appears from the roof and says that the demons are her enemies just before Chris is ready to kill Yumeji. Chris starts shooting flares at her, but Mary dodges them. She pursues him in charge and punches him hard. She instructs him to open a portal, but he turns himself into shards and vanishes, freeing May from his control. A few days have passed, and now Yumeji and Mary are used to hanging out with each other. He asks her how long she's been in their world, and she mentions that 10 years have passed since she woke up in this world. His worry about her saddens him, but she expresses her gratitude to him for giving her a purpose and making her feel like a real person. They meet a girl named Yui, and after speaking with her, they are drawn into a dream gateway that resembles a cornfield. That's where they met the winged demon named Inji. She asks Mary about someone named Pharaohs, but she doesn't know who it is. Inji starts attacking her and tells Yumeji to step aside. While fighting, Mary learns from Inji that she can never return to the dream world once she's trapped in the real world. All the nightmares she has sent back to the dream world have been actually killed, just like her sister, who was murdered by someone who claimed the same thing as Mary. Mary cannot move because she is too shocked by what she hears. As a sword shower comes towards Mary, Yumeji intervenes and takes her away. Mary is eventually trapped on the stone by the swords, and while Inji threatens to kill her, Yumeji remembers his promise to help her. He steps in front as the demon launches another attack. Inji gets traumatized for involving a human, and Mary gets mad enough to unleash her full power, forcing Inji to retreat after Mary started to tear the dream world apart. They return to the real world, and in his room, Yumeji gives into his injury and passes out. He runs into John Doe in a dream. Instead of confronting him, Doe sends his cat to treat his wounds while explaining that he might be to blame for Yumeji's powers. He alerts Yumeji to Pharaoh's Hercules, a formidable dream demon. He characterizes him as someone who uses light to lure victims and expand his territory. Yumeji concludes that if he can find Hercules, he'll know how to help Mary. Although Hercules seems strong, Doe warns Yumeji that a stronger dream demon is already on Earth. He names it Mistletoe. Before Yumeji awakens, he warns him that more people will become hosts of these nightmares. Yumeji goes to a clinic to cure his ankle and discovers Yui working for the physician. They engage in conversation outside and she switches her persona to Inji, the dream demon they fought before. Inji kneels before him and asks for his forgiveness while stating that she is simply borrowing Yui's body because there's someone she needs to kill. She asks questions about Chris to Yumeji, but he replies that Mary sent him back, which Inji finds hard to believe. They head to meet with Mary, but after getting together, the four are transported. They are confronted by a demon called the Maze. Mary and Inji engage in an attack on the Maze, but he prevents them from continuing, saying that if they kill him, they will also destroy the future dream of his host, while mocking them. Inji cannot take his mocking nature anymore and tries to slash the Maze, but Yumeji wishes to save the host and pushes her away, allowing the Maze to escape. Back in the real world, an enraged Inji possessing Yui's body confronts Yumeji and demands to know why he got on her way. He tells her that a human being will suffer injury if she does it. Isana arrives and tells them to go back home. On their way, she reveals that she had a dream about a wasteland, and saw something that looked like a host when she, Yumeji, and Mary are conversing on the stairs. Yumeji and Mary become curious and ask about what happened next, but she replies that there isn't much more to say. Yumeji then examines her and discovers that a nightmare is following her. He decides to look for a way to protect Isana. He thinks back to his early times spent with her and still finds it hard to accept that a nightmare is after her. He meets Inji and discusses getting ready for a battle with Isana's demon. She cautions him, nevertheless, that he must move fast because they are unsure of what they will face. Chizuru, his classmate, visits Yumeji's place, revealing that Isana's nightmare is her fault because a nightmare is also pursuing her. She also informs him that Isana is in danger from a jungle vine before she departs. Isana is successfully brought into Inji's dream realm by Yumeji and Mary and is put to sleep. There they encounter the dream demon, named Paulette, who says Mistletoe tricked him into using Isana as a host. Isana will not be Paulette's host, he explains, but he is unable to return to the dream world. Mary consoles him and asks if she should send him back, but Yumeji stops her because he's afraid this will cause Isana to lose her dreams. They decide to wake up Isana and go back to their everyday lives, but Isana is attacked by Mistletoe, forcing Mary and Yumeji to interfere. To stop her from killing Paulette, Yumeji yells at her. Mary tries to fight her, but she can't stand up to her power. Yumeji tries to protect her, but he is sent back to the ground by an unknown force. Mistletoe returns to her attempt to kill Paulette, but Yumeji is persistent in stopping her. However, he stops when someone steps on his injured ankle. When he turns around, he is shocked when he sees his teacher, Ijima. He realizes that his teacher is Mistletoe's host. Yumeji screams in anguish due to him stepping more forcefully on his injuries. On the other side, Mistletoe shows Chizuru and her demon watching them from a distance. Yumeji calls Chizuru, but Ijima tells him that they're not allies. They might be Mistletoe's enemies, but they won't do anything but observe while the victims scream in pain in their hands. Mistletoe summons rusty chains to bind, laughing like a maniac. As Asana and Paulette are on the brink of their deaths, Yumeji yells her name and stands up, but Ijima hits him. Luckily, Chizuru steps in, and Yumeji watches as she tells Mistletoe that she will protect her friend. Mistletoe dismisses them and warns them that she'll come back to kill them all when things get funnier. Yumeji and the rest come to Yui's place. During their stay, they are summoned to Chizuru's daydream, where they meet her demon, Leon. Leon tells them that the only way to defeat Mistletoe is through his gun. Yumeji interrupts and questions him why he just watched the victims die. Chizuru tells him that the gun has no ammo and should need one more pair of victims' deaths to kill Mistletoe. When they return to reality, Yumeji learns that Chizuru became Leon's host because she's emotionless. Once Leon fires the gun, he'll die, and her dreams will also disappear. Yumeji and the group dine together with Ijima. While their teacher spits nonsense, Enji starts pulling everyone into her daydream world, where a battle between Mistletoe, Mary, and Enji happens. Unfortunately, Yumeji observes as the two collapse in front of Mistletoe. Ultimately, he takes Enji's sword and walks toward the enemy demon. He tells himself that if nobody else can't fight her, then he will be the one to stand up and fight for them. Yumeji swings the sword toward Mistletoe but fails to inflict damage on her. She turns the blade into fragments and flicks it on him, causing him to lose consciousness. Not long after, Yumeji returns to his senses and recalls his dreams. He gets up and calls Ijima. He tells him that his dreams are protecting everyone else and sending Mary back to the dream world. He recalls those words saying, "Your belief in dreams is the strength of your will." With that in mind, he concentrates all his power and generates a blue streak of light. He calls forth Do's weapon and Mistletoe charges at him. She tries to attack him, but he breaks it with his weapon, telling her the weapon can't be broken as long as he believes it will not. However, he gets scratched by some of her attacks, but he is determined to protect his friends and not give up. As Yumeji walks towards her, she pushes her away with wind force. On the other hand, Mary wakes up and joins the battle. The girls engage in a fight and Mistletoe cannot do much more than dodge Mary's attacks until she's forced to eat Paulette, while bragging that she absorbed their friend's dreams. He assures her that he believes in her and she should believe in herself. Mary then gives a huge blow in the same location Leon's bullet hit, allowing Paulette to escape and return to the dream world. In the end, Mary combines her punches with Enji's sword slash to defeat her, saving their friends, and finding a way to send Mary back home.